Okay.
Attention everybody, welcome first of all. Thanks for all making it to our club contest. We're glad to have you all here. We're all looking forward to some exciting speeches. Lots of entertaining speeches upcoming. First of all, we are going to have our evaluation contest. The contest is going to be, first of all, we're going to have two contestants. We are going to have number one, we are going to have Susanna McCann as an evaluator. And we are going to have Will Burns as our second evaluator. For the evaluation contest, what's basically going to happen is we're going to have a target speaker, which will be Ryan Prana-Miller, and he will be giving a speech for 5 to 7 minutes. And then we will have our evaluators taking a look at that. Judges will be judging how well they evaluate. First of all, Mr. Chief Judge. Everything is in order.
Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair.
Is everything in order, sir?
Everything is in order. The judges have been briefed, have signed their ethics certificates, and the, of course, drawing of the contestants took place, so we know who's going first and who's going second. I think that is it. We have a timer, we have a ballot counter.
And then?
Yes. Mr. Timer, would you like to tell us what you'll be doing?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Judge. Evaluation contest speeches shall be from 2 to 3 minutes. A contestant will be disqualified if the speech is less than 1 minute 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes 30 seconds. The green signal will be displayed at 2 minutes and remain displayed for 30 seconds. The yellow signal will be displayed at 2 minutes and 30 seconds and remain displayed for 30 seconds. The red signal will be displayed at 3 minutes and remain displayed until the evaluation is concluded. During the contest, we ask everyone to maintain silence, and we'll have a 1 minute period at the end of each speech where the judges can fill out their judging forms. And if you have to leave the room, do so only during that 1 minute period. Thank you.
Also, if you have cell phones, please silence them. This is a courtesy to the speakers that your phone not buzz or ring during the contest.
The other thing we have in a backup timer and an assistant timer who has cards, something should happen with the timing here, then Jean will take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timer.
What you'll also see happen in the evaluation after the target speech, there'll be a 5-minute period in which the evaluators will both sit in this room and write down their notes. And then the second evaluator will leave the room. So only the first evaluator will stay and do his or her evaluation. Yes, Jean?
Actually, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
So just as a brush up, at the end of our speaker's speech, the Sergeant-at-Arms will escort both contestants out of the room.
And they do their 5 minutes there.
And they do their 5 minutes
Okay,
outside, and then when the Sergeant-at-Arms puts his head back in, that's when we start the 5-minute
Okay,
timing.
great.
And then whoever's going first,
Comes back in.
go in and they take all the notes.
Yeah,
Sergeant-at-Arms takes them.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
so the evaluators don't get to see each other. The second one doesn't get to see the first one. The first one will get to see.
Right, right. But both will only have 5 minutes to prepare their speech, and then their note cards will be taken away and given back to them right before they're ready to speak if they choose to use them. Mr. Contest, yes.
Then we are ready to go.
All right, very
Thank
good.
you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chief Judge.
Well,
Good. Now we move to a section where we will have our speaker, our target speaker, do his 5 to 7 minute speech. Everybody, welcome, Ryan Prana Miller.
Then my speech is real life astrology.
Excellent.
Real life astrology.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thanks. How many of you would like to improve your life, your relationships, and your finances? All right, great. The system of astrology started 5,000 years ago, and there's a Western and an Eastern. I'm going to focus on the Eastern astrology, which has a more accurate level of astrology. Western astrology says everybody is based on one moment in the sky. One moment at 5,000 years ago, that was a unique moment in the sky, and everybody's chart is based on that moment. Western astrology is less accurate, it's more easy to understand, and Eastern astrology has there's 8 billion opportunities for Eastern astrology. Not opportunities, but 8 billion permutations or possibilities of personalities and people and variables and factors. So that's Eastern astrology. Eastern astrology is it's basically, think of it as a pie, okay? So everyone likes pie, right? It's easy to think about pie. You have a circle. The sky is divided up into 12 zodiacs. There's Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and it just goes on. There's 12 zodiacs. Each zodiac has a lot of different, they're all different personalities, different characteristics. So the way that I offer you to learn about astrology and improve your life is by kind of thinking about astrology as a metaphor as opposed to this mystical occult science. So astrology is like I already said, it's like pie. Astrology is like chess. Okay? Everyone's played chess before. You don't want to play chess. You have two people, right? You're playing chess. You're facing off an opponent. But instead of facing an opponent, you're just facing yourself. It's all about yourself and how to improve yourself. So every day you wake up, you think, how can I make myself better? How can I have the best day? How can I have how can I have the most success today? How can I have the most happiness, the most bliss? And so there's a lot of things going on in the planet, right? You got planets spinning, or in the galaxy, you got planets spinning around, you got Jupiter and Mars and Venus, and they're all up there doing something. And Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system, and the Sun is the biggest influence in the solar system, just because all the planets revolve around the Sun, right? So chess, astrology is like chess because there's all this stuff happening every day. All these pieces are moving, and we have no idea what's going on up there. But you want to win, you want to be successful. So you have to learn a strategy, and you have to figure out how to maximize your strategy. So it can be confusing, it can be complex, but you want to basically figure out how to make sense of the motion of the planet. So every planet has an influence on us in some way. And the idea is to take the most beneficial influences and also kind of work with the unpleasant influences, right? Ketu and Rahu. Everybody hates Ketu and Rahu. Does anybody know what those words are? Ketu, Rahu. Okay. Ketu just moved into Capricorn. Rahu just moved into Cancer. and they're these big influential planets. Anyways, all right, the chess metaphor. You want to win. You want to win in life. So you want your health, you want happy relationships, and you want wealth. So in order to win at astrology, you need to see it as a game more than like a science, I think, because if you start taking anything too seriously, this, I got to put this ruby on so that I'll bring the most power in my life, and I'll have loyalty, and I'll be a king, if I put this ruby on. It's probably not going to work. But if you look at life as like a play, and then you'll start drawing things into your life that'll bring you happiness, bring you joy. Okay, so anyways, chess metaphor. Moving on, the next metaphor. Astrology is like salad, okay? There's 9 planets out here. And 9 planets, right? Without all the planets working together, it's not going to happen. You need beets, you need lettuce, you need carrots, you need tomatoes, and you need lettuce. I said that already. And you need cheese. Okay, so astrology is, without all these ingredients, these accoutrements, if you will not succeed in life. So you need every planet working for you. In order to get the planets to work for you, you can wear jewels. You can get these little gems and put them on your fingers, or you can do nice things for people. You can give food to children. You can take care of motherly figures. You can, you can do a lot of little things in this world. So these are some. I don't have all the plans for all of your charts. You have different charts. We're all born at different times. But yeah, basically, I think you have to think of life as a game. You have to think of astrology as a game. And astrology is also like Myers-Briggs. We all know Myers-Briggs, right? Personality test. Okay, let's not go there. It's too much. Basically, my experience with astrology, I've been studying for about 5 years, and I know there's a lot like this pie, back to the pie. There's 12 zodiacs. There's 27 nakshatras, 27 padas, and it just gets broken down into this 8 billion permutations, right? So it's very complex. It's much more systematic and accurate than the Western astrology. And I think the best part about it is that you don't have to do it every day. You just need to talk to an astrologer once, and then you're on your path. You're on your life path, and he can guide you, or she can guide you. And I actually know some great astrologers. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I can point them your way, or point you in their way. So if you want to bring back health, wealth, and relationships, love in your life, happiness, bliss, financial gain, you gotta let the planets work for you, and you gotta help yourself with the planets and play the game of life. Thank you.
Thank you, Brana. I really like that way you say that. The planets are like salad. I'm never going to think of our solar system the same way after hearing that speech.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's different.
Without further delay, we will now have our Sergeant of Arms please escort our evaluation contestants, Susanna and Will.
Who's in?
All right.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Prana.
Thank you, Dennis.
Let's talk about you guys. While our evaluators are thinking deeply, contemplating, while they're trying to play the planets to their advantage.
Yes.
Hurry, John.
We've got to interview Prana. Prana, why did you decide
To talk about
to talk about
astrology.
astrology?
Like I said, 5 years ago, I started studying astrology, and I think the real reason was I wanted to meet somebody in my life that shared similar characteristics, somebody that would really complement me, and I was searching for the ideal life partner, and I wanted to I wanted enlightenment too. I wanted to be enlightened. So astrology brings the heaven and the earth kind of together. It's like transcendental, enlightenment, transcendental. So I thought, this is a great science that allows me to research the planets, research the stars, and research enlightenment in like a practical way. Enlightenment, practicality.
For enlightenment, I hear the word enlightenment a lot.
Yes.
How do you define enlightenment?
I think of enlightenment as clear, like fulfillment of desires. Like you have a future, right? Here's your past, here's your present, here's your future. You wanna fulfill your desires, and you want to do it effortlessly and life supporting. So life support. I don't know. That's the word they use in Fairfield. Life support.
Life support.
I don't know, life supporting desires. Well, but I don't know. Enlightenment, I think, is just a clear vision and happiness. Happiness, but not just like personal happiness. Is like everybody's happy, right?
Yeah.
Bliss is like I'm happy, and joy is like let me share my happiness with others. So I think of enlightenment as like sharing happiness. Being in like a community where everyone's like happy. So happiness.
Everybody's happy.
Everyone's happy.
The salad is delicious.
The salad's great. The yeah,
Radishes,
there's cheese,
yeah.
beets. And then the desires. The whole fulfillment of desire. Like, okay, I want a Lamborghini, and it's like, well, I'll help you get a Lamborghini. So if you surround
That's
yourself
good.
with people that are enlightened and share similar values, and challenge you, question you, then you'll be happy. And astrology is a way to like look at life in a different way. Look at life with like it allows you to look at life it's very systematic. That's why astrology is like peanut butter. You don't want to.
Oh, no.
It's like, it makes me hungry.
I'm sorry. Astrology is cool, but you don't want to. You can get too much astrology.
Yeah.
Really sad. So.
That's true.
So it's a tool, you don't want to drive your car every day, all day, because it would be bad. So astrology is a tool, and I think just being the best person that I can, like to my friends, my family, my life, just be the best person that I can, and be honest. And if I know what my rising sign is, and I know what somebody else's rising sign is, like you may be a Leo, and let's see, I'm a Leo, you're a Leo, how can we work together? We could run a business together, We could we could sell solar panels.
Yeah.
And I know your characteristics, I know my characteristics, and I know how to prevent problems from happening, and I know how to strengthen, focus on the good stuff, focus on the good things. So that's what I see as astrology, is a way to like look at personalities, look at people, and see how we can work together as effectively as possible.
I like that.
Yeah.
A lot of good food out there.
Yep, salads. What else?
Salads.
Metaphors.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter and salad. What else is there?
I like it.
Time's up. Burgers. Astrologers like burgers.
Burgers. Wow. I like it.
I'm not sure
You got
why,
both
but
the
I'll figure it
vegetarian,
out.
vegan,
Yes,
you got the
veggie
carnivorous
burgers.
one. I
Total
like
just
it.
veggie burgers.
Okay.
Just veggie burgers.
Great interview, Prana.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're all a lot hungrier.
Yes.
I hope you guys ate dinner.
Yep.
After that interview, guys.
Eat dinners afterwards.
All right, everybody, please welcome, give us a warm welcome for Susanna and Ken.
Did she have notes? Was she get to
Yes.
have notes? Okay.
Thank you. Fellow members of Toastmasters, many honored and illustrious guests, and viewers at home, it's my pleasure this evening to evaluate Prana Miller's talk on astrology. I felt I would like to do this evaluation in several categories. First, content, then how it's organized, and the style of speaking, okay? I thought it was very effective the way Prana started with a question to get the audience involved in thinking about the topic. Certainly the topic that Prana chose was extremely ambitious. The whole field of astrology in 7 minutes could be biting off a little bit more than might be realistic to chew in that period of time. It's an interesting topic. You definitely conveyed the complexity and depth of the topic. However, I think if you had narrowed it down a little bit more, picked some aspect of it that's an easy entree for people who are not already involved in it, that could have been a little bit more effective. Okay? Now, the other topic is the way Prana organized the talk around the different metaphors that could help draw in the listener and help the listener relate a little bit more easily to the complexity of the topic that Prana chose. He used the metaphor of the pie to talk about divisions of time, and that helped make it a little bit more concrete. And then the metaphor of a game of chess, the various celestial influences moving around in the heavens, somehow relating to people moving around in their lives on Earth, that kind of thing. And salad, that all the ingredients together influence each other and make up a whole. So I believe that these metaphors did convey a feeling of what you were talking about. However, for people who were not already knowledgeable on the topic, it may not have quite gelled as much as you might like. And then my final comments have to do with style and delivery and so forth. You definitely had a very relaxed, personable style, almost conversational, and that's nice because your warmth and your own personal enthusiasm for the topic comes through. You could have been a little bit more projecting in a sense, and also looking around the group and relating to the individuals a little bit more directly. And that might have helped the people connect with your topic a little bit more. And I like the way you finished it. You wrapped it up and conveyed the feeling that yes, we are living the game of life. Thank you, Prana, and thank you, audience.
Thank you, Susanna. Judges, we will allow 1 minute. Everybody, please warmly welcome evaluator number 2.
Prana had a fire within him, and he brought it out. He merely needs to forge one piece at a time. Prana, to start, your introduction is your chance to light that fire before you even set foot on the stage. Furthermore, when you have that edge, you want to hone it down. Real life Eastern astrology tells us immediately what we're in for, and forgets all that silly, simple Western stuff. You use a number of analogies throughout your speech. Astrology was like salad. Astrology is like playing chess. You did a great job of reinforcing this concept that you could use astrology to win. Based on that, I would focus on lighting that fire and honing and quenching one piece at a time, and going with chess, the game you can play to win. You did an excellent job of bringing back this element of health, wealth, and relationships, and how if you wanted to really win, astrology was essential in that. One of the incredible things that Prana does is bring a unique perspective to every speech he gives. enabling us to look at these with new eyes. Prana, my suggestion for you is to forge one piece at a time and quit. Thank you.
Thank you, Will.
Everybody, 1 minute. Timer, please time 1 minute for judges. Mr. Chief Judge, please collect the ballots. In the meantime, while our judges count ballots and discuss things, our guests, we're glad to have a lot of guests today. Would you guys like to talk about what you think about Toastmasters? Introduce yourselves briefly. Who would like to start? Thanks, sir.
My name is Peter Armstrong. This is my first Toastmasters meeting, and thank you for hosting this. And I see that you've all been going for quite some time and earned a lot of awards and rewards and whatever else. My situation is that how long am I supposed to talk? How many people are there? Just okay, so I'll cut it short then and say again thank you, and I will allow others to pick up now.
Thank you. For the next.
We got
Other guests.
another guest.
Several of them.
Go ahead, man.
I just wanted to say that
Yep.
I was invited as a guest.
Yep.
This is my first time being here, and I think it's brilliant. I think it really helps just public speaking in general, even socially amongst friends, coworkers, even those at shopping centers. I didn't know this existed, and so I'm really glad it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great
Thank you
tool.
all for being here.
Yeah. Glad to have you here. Join us.
Yes, I am Carlton Ellis. I used to be a member of Toastmasters Club in Montego Bay, Jamaica. So I am here studying at MUM now, so I searched for a club online, and online sent me here. So I think that I'm in a good place, and I will be learning more on what I have already learned. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope the Iowa winters go well for you. Is this your first year here? Or you've been here
Yes,
for a couple
I came in August.
in August, okay. So, be a little cooler, but later on, it's good to have you. Would you like to go next?
My name is Karen Shelley. This is my first time at Toastmasters. I find it very terrifying. And I'm hoping that that feeling will subside and I'll get more and more comfortable and at one point maybe even enjoy it. Yeah, thank you so much.
My name is Sandy Magrum, and I was a Toastmaster a couple years ago. And I'm back now, and I don't feel any terror inside right now, but I just wait till the time for the speech to come. And that's why I'm back here, so I can just not be free, just to come up and be me. Thank you.
My name is Hudayfa Shatnawi. I'm from Jordan. My wife told me about this program yesterday, so I just want to first to improve my English skills and speech, and also to find, because in Arabic we have different way for speeches, so it's a good place to learn how to make a speech in English, so it's not in English language, but Arabic style. So people will not take that as a speech, maybe they will think that's a fight because we use that yeah, we use little louder voice in speeches. So this is a good place maybe to learn and share maybe. And, okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Miranda. This is my second time at the Toastmasters meeting. The first time I won the table topic ribbon, and I went home and I watched my speech and kept thinking, man, that must have been really great. That must have been really great. I won a ribbon. And I watched and I go, yeah, you better keep going to meetings. Keep practicing. So I came back. And so thanks for having me.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry. Hi, I'm David Hauk, a longtime visitor. I come and support my friends when they need me.
Glad to have you all here. It sounds like we've got it's a really good crowd to have over here. We have a lot of development tools to help everybody out in their goals in life right now. So I'm glad to have you all here. And on to the next portion of our contest. This is the humorous contest. Something that hopefully all of us enjoy is to laugh. It's a very simple thing. Most people say it's good for your health. So I hope you will enjoy it very much. First of all, let us announce the order of this contest. First up, we will have Emery Styron. And his title of his speech is Lessons from My Children. After Emery, we will have Art Atkinson. His speech is How to Sink a Cardboard Boat. It'll be a good time. Mr. Chief Judge, is everything in order? Everything good to go?
Yes, the judges have been briefed on this contest, and the contestants have observed the order of their speech being drawn, so they all qualify.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Judge. Mr. Timer, please describe your role.
Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair. International and humorous speeches shall be from 5 to 7 minutes. The contestant will be disqualified if the speech is less than 4 minutes 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes 30 seconds. A green signal will be displayed at 5 minutes and remain displayed for 1 minute. The yellow signal will be displayed at 6 minutes and remain displayed for 1 minute. A red signal will be displayed at 7 minutes and remain on until the conclusion of the speech. Should something happen with the timing lights, we have a backup timer, Jean, who will signal the time with cards. Thank you.
Mr. Timer. Unlike our evaluation contest, everybody will be able to stay in the room at the same time for this contest. First up, we will have Emery Styron. Everybody give him a warm welcome. His speech, his lesson, his title is Lessons from My Children. Thank you, Emery.
Thank you. Good evening, guests, viewers at home, and fellow Toastmasters. How many of you on August 21st experienced totality up in the sky? Oh, good. Well, my wife and I got in on that too, but we experienced another type of totality that same weekend, or just the day before. We dropped our youngest and last, of course, we hope, child off at college, last of 6. So we are totaled, as in when your insurance company tells you your car is not worth fixing. But after a couple weeks of this empty nest thing, it's growing on us. So I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about parenthood. So let's start with some questions. How many of you have children at home or grown children? A goodly number. And how many of you who don't have children think sometime you might? Okay, some more. And finally, how many of you have ever been children at one time or another? No. Okay, so whatever your situation in life, I think we can agree on two things. One is that parents don't have all the answers. And two, that children come into this world with no instruction manuals. So what I've found in my parenting is that we often learn more from our children than they learn from us, or maybe just as much. So I want to give you 3 things that I have learned from my kids. Number 1, children are more resilient than you think. Here's an example. When my son Jackson was 6 years old, he kept a lizard we call Lizzie in an aquarium. Lizzie wasn't doing well, and I was so worried that Lizzie was going to expire, and Jackson would be crushed by the loss of his pet. How would I help him get through this crisis in his young life? Turned out my worries were unfounded. One day, I heard happy shrieks out the window. I looked out, and Jackson and his cousin were playing catch with Lizzie's lifeless body. Or so I thought. It turned out Lizzie didn't die after all. She'd merely gone into some kind of state of suspended animation or low metabolism. So lizards, like children, are more resilient than you think. Lesson number 2. The things you think are so important as a parent may not be. And the things that you don't think much about could be the biggest things in their lives. Another example. My wife and I, like most parents, wanted to give our children the very best broadening experiences we possibly could. So we spent tens of thousands of dollars to get them to Disney World, to take a family vacation to the Summer Olympics in Atlanta, to take a 10-day vacation in France, renting a car and driving all over. What do you think that the payoff was for all of that? Zilch. About the only thing I heard was that, Daddy, you're ruining our summer vacation. We'd rather be home with our friends. On the other hand, the things they talk about now, they're in their 30s, is when I would get out my old guitar, I ride an old Payne and I lead an old Dan. I'm going to Montana for to throw the hula hand. I don't know why they would remember that, but they did. And they treasure the memories of going to the donut shop with their mother on Saturday mornings. Number 3, children will say, do, ask things that leave a parent almost speechless. And after you say, I don't think that a tongue stud is appropriate for a 10-year-old. Or you're telling me that you drove the car out onto the pond to test the thickness of the ice. There really isn't much to add. So while you sit there seething, waiting for your blood pressure to come down, trying to think of something else to say, eventually you realize you might as well just reach out and hug that child. What they need to know is that you still love them, no matter what they've done. Parenting, I've heard, is the delicate art of instilling kids with the belief that they can do absolutely anything they set their mind to, at the same time telling them every 3 minutes, no, you can't do that. So do repeat. The big things may be the little things. Kids are tougher than you think. And when words fail you, give hugs. All right, for you people who've been parents, who are parents, I salute you. For those who've been parents, I salute you. For those planning to be parents, I wish you luck. You're going to need it. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Emery. Timer, please allow for 1 minute. Everybody, let's give a warm welcome to the next contestants, Art Atkinson. How to Sink a Cardboard Boat by Art Atkinson.
What could be more fun than building and sailing a boat of corrugated cardboard around a water race course of 200 yards long and winning the race? While sinking the boat, of course. Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. For 2 years, I've been participating in Fairfield's Great Cardboard Boat Regatta on Bonneville Lake. You haven't heard of the Great Cardboard Boat Regatta? It's an exercise in ingenuity and inspired by the design principles of Bucky Fuller, inventor of the geodesic dome. Cardboard boat regattas have been held on lakes and in swimming pools all around the USA now ever since 1974. Most competitors are focused on building their cardboard boat so it'll last long enough to allow them to paddle to victory in the multiple heats, elimination heats of the regatta. I think that they're missing out on the fun. I have identified 6 principles that guarantee that your cardboard boat is going to sink and give you an excellent chance at winning the coveted Titanic Award for the most spectacular sinking. First principle, and most important, do not begin building your boat until a week before the race. This ensures that you're going to do a rush job. You're going to make mistakes as you go along. You're going to make hasty design decisions that prove unworkable. Second principle, work with a material that you're not familiar with to build your boat. This is an example of the material that we decided to work with this year. 5-layer, pass this around, you'll agree this stuff is incredibly tough. We discovered we had to cut it using a skill slot. Third principle, you want to familiarize yourself with the regulations of the cardboard boat regatta so that you don't use a forbidden material in constructing your boat. Fiberglass, resin, metal, wood. you'd be disqualified, you'd never get into the race, and you can't win the Titanic Award if you don't race. Fourth principle, skimp on painting your boat. If you follow principle number 1, you don't have time to do more than maybe at most 2 coats of water-based latex house paint on the cardboard. And you're going to put this boat in water. It would take at least 4 or 5 coats of well-cured latex house paint to waterproof cardboard. And you don't have time. So, you may look good on dry land. Come on, let's advance. You may look good on dry land, but when it gets time to hit the water,
There you go, you got it.
you may look good, but you're going to start sinking almost immediately. This boat lasted a little longer, but at the start of heat 2, it was already collapsing in on itself and sank immediately. This year, looking good on dry land. Pile of wet cardboard. This is 50 seconds into the race. Here's the next principle. Do not test your boat before the race. If you followed principle number 1, you don't have time to build another boat, and if you follow principle number 4, your boat is going to be a pile of wet cardboard at the end of your test. So don't test your boat. Technology is wonderful.
There you go.
But you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you end up like a beached whale on them. And here's the last principle. Get yourself some great teammates. And I was lucky this year that Captain Jack Sparrow wanted to join the team. Captain Jack, take a bow.
Hi, everyone.
It was a pleasure sinking your boat, Art.
Commandeering that vehicle.
So, Captain Jack's dramatic skills and histrionics and his amazing costume surely had a lot to do with the fact that we won the Titanic Award. But here's my message to you in conclusion. Failure is an option. It's a lot more fun to sink a boat on a warm July day in Bonneville Lake than it is to paddle hard and have the satisfaction of knowing that you had the fastest boat, in my opinion. We laughed ourselves silly sinking these boats. Don't miss the next regatta. Plan to fail. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Art. Mr. Timer, please allow for 1 minute for our judges. 1 minute has been completed. Mr. Chief Judge, please collect the ballots. I like the shades.
I was over here looking up jokes, pirate jokes.
Yeah.
Do you want to step up and share some?
Yeah, share some right now.
Good.
All right. So the first one I whispered back there, I don't know if you heard it, but it was, what ship lies at the bottom of the ocean and twitches? A nervous wreck. There was was one more, and it was, how much did the pirate pay for his peg leg? Shoot, maybe I messed that one up. An arm and a leg. Let's see what we got here. Technology is wonderful. What's the difference between a hungry pirate and a drunken pirate? One has a rumbling tummy and the other's tumbling and rumbling. Rummy? Yes, the other's tumbling rummy. Ah, that's good. Thanks, guys.
Contestants, would you guys like to talk about why you chose your particular?
You want to bring the contestants up and talk to each one and ask them about their experiences in Toastmasters?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great, I think. We could start with evaluation. If you guys would like, have all four talk about what they think about Toastmasters. Will, you first, sir. Sir.
Well, evaluation is a fascinating thing. It's enabled me to go from being very anxious and nervous young man. You might even say I was a nervous wreck when I joined Toastmasters. But over time, getting feedback from more experienced speakers than myself enabled me to grow. And I saw this throughout my entire life. I was more confident in meetings at work, but also I was just more comfortable going out and networking with people. You know, I could go out to a social event, you know, I'd go out to the bar, you know, drinks after work. I guess it's always worked for me. It's always some shift to work, but and be comfortable. Or I could go to a networking event and feel like I could actually have something to contribute. It's kind of funny for me because I always feel like I have so much to say, and I'm always happy to share it. So once I get over that fear, I can talk about just about anything for any length of time. So I think I'll wrap this up here. But it's been an absolute privilege doing this. I love doing table topics. I love doing speeches, and I love doing the evaluations. And you know, I also love the contests as well. They're a chance to really put the metal to the fire there. So thank you.
Susanna, would you like to talk about your experiences, Toastmasters?
Briefly?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. I've been a member for maybe about a year by now, or maybe a little less than a year. And I came because I wanted to start doing some public speaking. And I wanted to get back into it and have a structure for encouraging myself to do that. And so going through the manual, Toastmasters has a beginner's manual that's called the Competent Communicator. And it's got 10 topics that 10 speeches that people do. Each one is focused on a different speaking skill. And so by the time you've worked your way through that first manual, you've gained some skills and you try to apply the things you used earlier in your next talks and so forth. And so Toastmasters has really worked out a wonderful program for helping people improve their public speaking skills. And I've found that to be the case. We have some really good speakers here and they give really good feedback. And who is the membership person now if people are interested in joining the club? Okay, good. So Prana is a person to talk. We'd love to have some new members. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
Thanks, Susanna. How about you guys? Would you guys like to talk about your experience?
One of the things that I learned early on, when I was much younger, I was filled with fervor to try to persuade people of ideas that I hold. And I discovered at a certain point later on, much later on, I discovered that the reason that I couldn't get my ideas across to people had a lot to do with the fact that I wasn't listening to them. And it was kind of a revelation to me that the problem wasn't my speaking, the problem was my listening. And one of the things that I have learned in this club is what I call listening from yes. Somebody may give a talk that I disagree with the content of, but if I'm listening from a position of where can I contribute a suggestion to this person about how they could improve the effectiveness of getting their ideas across. If I'm listening from that position, I'm actually able to contribute to them. And for some magical reason, they become much more interested in what I may have to say about cardboard boats or whatever, just because I actually am showing some genuine interest in what they're doing and actually offering a contribution to what they may want to accomplish in this world. So that whole skill of listening is probably the biggest thing that I've gotten out of working in Toastmasters. And like everyone who has spoken, I had the desire to become more comfortable speaking before a group and get rid of the ums and the ahs and all the flaws that can really interfere with good, high caliber speaking. I had those objectives too. And I've learned some of them. I've mastered some small parts of it. This has been so much fun to do. I think that I have more years with this club than actually anybody else in the club right now. But I'm not even close to some of the visiting members that we had. We had a gentleman a few days ago who had 30 years experience in Toastmasters. And he was a master speaker. Boy, he was right on, jolly on the spot with a really beautiful speech, extemporaneous. Mr. Contest Chair, out of the room. Okay.
Thank you, Art. I've been in Toastmasters about 3 years. As most of you know, I'm a longtime journalist, and like a lot of journalists, we're craving attention, but bashful and able to hide behind our, used to be typewriters, now computers, and get our words out there without facing the audience so much. But there's a kind of a secret desire to be a performer, I think, and Toastmasters lets me get that out. So probably a lifelong introvert who's trying to overcome that and become an extrovert. One thing about Toastmasters, you got a captive audience. Where else are you going to go get opportunities to speak and have people listen to you and give you kind but truthful, constructive evaluations in writing and verbally the same night? Where are you going to get this much experience in front of an audience? It's just a wonderful opportunity. It's higher level training than you could get in about any corporate setting for any amount of money. So if you all are thinking about joining, you guests, I urge you to go ahead and do it. I don't think you'll regret it, but do realize you're making a commitment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Now that our judges have decided, we're good to go. It's the time for contest awards. First of all, we will be announcing the awards for evaluation contest, and then after that, we will be going to our humorous contest. For second place in our evaluation contest, everybody please give a warm applause to Susanna McCann. In first place for our evaluation contest, Will Burns. Thank you, contestants. Well done. In the next category is the humorous speeches. Everybody give a warm welcome. We already gave warm welcomes. Give a warm round of applause, please, for our second place contestant in the humorous contest, Emery Styron. For first place in the humorous contest, Art Atkinson.
Right.
Well done, sir. Yeah. Thank you. It's always good to laugh. Good for the soul. So we enjoy both sections. It's great to have everybody on board. And then this will conclude the club contest for all of us. Please stay tuned for the next sequence. The next stage is an area contest. Next week, right here, 7 o'clock is when people show up for roles. 7:30 is when you need to show up if you're a spectator. So for all of you guests, show up at 7:30. You're going to see some great speeches. Everybody that is going to be, there are going to be people from other clubs also, and they're going to be all competing. And everybody who has advanced and qualified will be able to give their speech. And just everybody's going to refine their speeches. Everything's going to be even better. So please show up next week, 7:30. Until then, everybody, if I want to be all official here, you're supposed to bash this hammer against this wood. Is there any business before we adjourn the meeting?
Those members who are wanting to give speeches after this contest is done, the week after next and beyond, please see me so I can get your schedule.
Thank you.
And we're coming up on our dues renewal time.
Yes,
So
that's important.
any member who's brought their payment for the 6-month period coming up, please see me.
It's good.
6 months is $63.
Jean?
And while we're speaking about membership, if any guests that are here would like to get more information on how to join our club, you can talk to me, and we can also talk to Prana. We could do a little tag team. Right? Well, I think we need to make sure we've got our finance, our square guy. Dan's so hip, he's square. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, without getting confused, and out in the planets, if you have a question, come find Prana and me, okay? So good, so we'll help you.
Thanks, Jean. For contestants, I will be handing your official receipt of your first or second place right here after the contest. After the meeting is adjourned officially. Anybody else? Anything else? On that note, thank you everybody for coming. Great speeches. Thank you.